I'm going to hit on this again. The one thing that Matt taught me the most is to lead by example and to prove it. How did he prove it? He proved it by being intentional. And there's many other people out there that he would meet up with from time to time. And it was always about challenging you and encouraging you in your walk. And I think that will always speak volumes. And you can take that to heart. That he led by example. But also was more about doing it, not just saying it. There's a difference. And, he was one of those guys that I would say a gentle giant. I can think about something that I had asked prayer one time on. And he would, it was like, I don't know, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, we're just going to believe that's done already. Next. Which is, I agree with that, it's that if you prayed once already for that item, then consider it done. It's done. No need to keep bringing that same request up. You just realize it's done. Now it's done. But anyway, what I was saying is, thinking about that time that we met at Kirwinny Dine. And he was, I'll tell you one thing, man. I will always value that. And if I ever get into a position where I'm in leadership, that's definitely will be on my radar screen to do. Is to make sure that I meet with whoever is on my team. And we have a heart-to-heart discussion about everything. About goals, about this and about that. Where you see yourself and down the road. That's huge. That was that contact point that at that time I needed. I was a few years away from my dad passing, or from when he passed, and I think it was that moment of like, hey, I really do care for you. I love you. I love your heart. And wanting the best for you. And like I had explained to somebody else, he was meant a lot to me because he had a lot of my dad's faith. He reminded me of the faith that my dad had, and that was what carried him on for 3 years with cancer. That would be the one thing that defined him, is his faith, his courage. And every time that he got on and did a video, he was always all about encouraging people, lifting people up. And there were people that would watch it that were going through similar things. I think I can never fill the shoes that he filled, that he did. Because he went out on top and did it. And he was the real deal when it came down to it. You think about it this way. Pretend you're in a war and you get your legs blown off. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm still here yet. And you still keep on talking to people. Somebody say, hey, don't you know your legs are blown off? I'm like, yeah, whatever. You just keep on carrying on a conversation with somebody and asking how their family was. And that's how he was. There's a lot to be learned in that. When you he took more of an interest in others than a pity party of himself, you know. So, there's a lot to be said about him. I mean, I could talk endlessly about his character and the kind of man that he was. And he always carried himself, and always had that confidence. There was a godly confidence in his step, and in his walk, and in his talk, that carried him through the hardest of times. You know, I'm sure that in the back of his mind he knew that, yeah, I probably won't be making it out of here. I won't be getting this healing, you know. But he believed it. Believed he'd get healed, I think. But even I bet you this, that on the last day of this life, he was still encouraging people. He was still lifting people up. He was still caring about other people. And what a legacy, man. What a legacy to go out on top. You know, I'd say, well, how does that even make sense, to go out on top and you're dead, and you died, and this man died? And there's two ways of looking at it. The one, he was a strong believer in God. He believed in what God was going to do in his life. And his faith carried him, brought him to new heights. It's that saying that Tom Jackson always used to tell the bands, right? When they were the final round, and this is right before the final round, they'd have that meeting. And one thing he said, this is the guy that trained and worked with Taylor Swift, among other big acts. Take your audience with you wherever you go. Take them so they can feel the emotions. Feel what you're feeling. It speaks volumes if you can do that. And there's a lot of people out there that will only are one-dimensional. They just are talking about it, but that's about as far as it goes. You know, it's a whole nother ballgame when you're walking it out day in, day out. You're not just. It's easy to talk about on a Sunday morning, but it's walking it out Monday through Friday and Saturday to get to Sunday. And I would pretty much say that Matt was that guy. You know, he walked out what he believed 24/7. He was one of those guys that his faith carried him to new heights. His faith carried him to a new level. Going back to that war analogy, I think is pretty indicative of him. You know, he took more of an interest in other people and how they were doing than his own battle, than his own struggle, than his own health. And that was what defined him. That's how he got strength to go another day. And he definitely earned his ride. I can say that much. And more. I'm going over the map, but sometimes it's good to think about everything that this person was to you, to me. And it's good to do it from a position of up above here, right? When you're down here, and you got all these emotions bottling up, coming out of you, you can't function, can't talk. And that's kind of where I was a few days ago. Because here's a man that I loved. And there was a lot of my dad in him. And I think that's pretty safe to say. He was definitely one of those guys that many people held in high regard for what he was, for what he did. So, that's way over on the time there, but I know it's all good stuff. It's good to be mindful of that. Good to be reminded of the legacy that this man had, And it's all food for thought. Sometimes we let things slide off the proverbial plate, and we don't think enough about everything that you know, everything that you've got going on. So